Hello, in this video we're going to look at the under 1.5 goal strategy and look at another way of identifying a good match to trade. Now the two games we're going to look at are two games that I actually traded, and this first one that we've got set up here, you can see that I've got my bet stakes input there and my lay stake over there. And also I've put the stakes, transferred the bet stake from 1-0 into 0-1 and from 0-1 into 1-0, and I've entered the lay stakes in so that I can see at what odds I need to what we need the odds to drop down to before we can break even or make a profit. Now in this game you can see that if a goal scored and we put the losing bet in there and the successful lay in there, if we enter odds of 8 there, we can see that we make a profit by the time we get down to 7.8, or we make a slight loss of 31 pence if the odds drop down to 8. Now that is the same in both scores. You'll find this works out the same on both scores. So if the other team scored, it would be exactly the same. We'd lose 31 pence if the odds drop down to 8 and win £1.29 if the odds drop down to 7.8. So that's a good way of seeing at how far you need your odds to drop down. Now we've got odds of 9.4 and 10.5 and lay odds of 2.92 in this particular match. Now this proved to be a good game to trade because we only need the odds to drop from 9.4 down to 8, or from 10.5 down to 8. Now we'll have a look at another game where the odds are needed to drop a little bit further. Now here we have another game. Now you can see the bet odds here were slightly smaller. They're 10 and 9 and lay odds of 2.96. Now in the previous game we had odds of 9.4 and 10.5 and 2.92, which are all better odds. That's the good game. Now we'll go back to the bad game again, or the poorer game, and you can see I've put the bet stakes in again, 4.44 into there as losing bet, and the lay stake of 20 this time into there as a successful lay, and the same here, 40 from there into there as a losing bet, and 20 a successful lay. Now with these odds being a bit worse, you can see now that we need to get down to odds of 7. Sorry, odds of 6.4 and 6.2. Now we need 6.2 before we get into a slight profit of 8 pence, and at 6.4 we still lose £1.94, which is a lot lower than it's the same for the other score as well. Look, now it's a lot lower than the previous game. We'll just flip back to that, where we only needed odds of 7.8 and 8 in both cases. So this is a good way of checking to see what odds you will need the current score to drop to after one goal. Is to before the kick-off, transfer your losing bet and your successful lay into only one section of the spreadsheet, and then input the odds there and see what odds you need to get down to get that exit with either break even or a very small loss. Now I would recommend that you aim for something around 8, because if you look at the other one, that to drop from 9.4 and 10.5 down to 8. Now if you look at the other one, they have to drop from 9 to 10 all the way down to 6.2 and 6.4, which is virtually 2 points lower. It's a hell of a big drop. So that's another good way of looking for a good game to trade. So I'll just repeat that. Transfer your losing bet stake into each of the other scores and put your successful lay stake in, and then input some odds there for current odds, and you'll see by adjusting that you'll see at what point you start to break even. And if it's a long way below 8, that is not a good game to trade, or certainly if it's a long way below the odds that you've bet at. Okay, so good luck with that, and happy trading.